Here, let's make a dungeon. Let's try to do the most D&D of things. And we'll see how that works. A dungeon. Okay. Bind a new level. So these are like caves. Yeah, here we go, dungeons. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So it does work. It does work very much like it works very much like the Sword Coast in terms of building a dungeon, in that I have to string locations together. So like dungeon entrance, dungeon long room, empty room 2 squares, empty room square, entrance hall. Like, yeah, okay. So what I'm actually doing here is dungeon entrance. And then I go load level. And then I have to make separate, they're all separate levels with no way for the players to exit except when I exit them. I exit them out. So I can go like sticky here and be like, exit to dungeon, you know, long hall 1, right? And then, so I'd have to come back and do that for each one. And just sticky so I know which way they're going. There's no way for automated travel. No, I have to manually go to the map and then go travel here during play mode. Oops, no. All right, so we'll do dungeon entrance. I guess I can build them all over here and then here. All right, dungeon entrance. And then check. Well, I mean, yeah, it's... God, again, like, I just feel like every company that tries to make a GM tools system, they butt up against how it's very difficult to do. Like, it's just, there's a reason that role-playing games are so kind of magical, and that's because they harvest the power of the human imagination, which, you know, is very, very hard to replicate in video game mode. Okay, so they look like there are 2 exits from here, right? There's one there and one over there. All right, so I need to attach 2 more areas that you can leave. So dungeon, call this one Dungeon East. And we'll go create new pin. We'll call this one Dungeon West. And then we'll bind an existing level to dungeon, or bind a new level to Dungeon West. Dungeon corridor. Well, Henry Warren, I agree that not having... Okay, so removing or not including a dialogue option at all is not great. I would like to have the option. If their intent was to remove it and then it was to tell you, you need to make up the dialogue yourself and deliver it to the players, that's cool. But it never actually said that to me. It never said, do this thing. It said... It just gave me NPCs. It's never mentioned dialogue. It never mentioned communication or any of that stuff. It's giving me like no guidance at all, which is strange. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's their... I'm not really sure what their intent is there, like not giving us that option. I like the idea that you're like, I'm all for predominantly setting it so that you're the one doing the work. I'm pretty okay with that. But also I would like the option to automate some of those processes. Okay, so it's literally just a long one-way corridor. All right, and then it ends here. So go back to the map. We'll drop one more. We'll call this one Dungeon West Corridor. And then drop in another one and call this one Dungeon Chapel. Let's look at what this one... Let's put a level to it. Dungeon empty room. Does this only have one exit from it? Let's find out. You can come into the empty room here. Okay, there's another exit. I guess we could just call it like a locked door or block it or something. All right, so dungeon room. Oh my god, I need more space. Dungeon west corridor, dungeon entrance, dungeon east. And then I need another pin. I'm going to eventually just have to block shit off. Dungeon west room 2. Can I have a room with no doors, please? Okay, and then I'll just have one. One entrance? Nope, there's just 2. Okay, so we're going to block one of these doors. That's fine. I can't... lock this door. Or, like, block it off with rubble or something. Okay. Alright, so now I can go back to the overworld map, and I gotta follow this east corridor. So... dungeon entrance. So this is to the east. Let's just put a room here. You don't have to create a new map location, just create new scenes? Oh, right, because they don't actually have to go there. I can just say you're in the dungeon, we go to this scene. Got it, okay. So how do we, let's try that then. Let's delete these. Delete, yeah. Delete. Right, okay, so that does clean up my map. So I go create new pin. We go a dungeon, and then we go bind existing level. We start with the dungeon entrance hall. And then when they leave, we go, all right, go here, load scene level. Okay, so that's, I mean, at least something. But I still have to use a piece of paper to map where, or I guess I need to say, using stickies, if they go here, load this scene. So, like, okay, but still, it's not, like, there's no actual causality between the encounter. Like, you never leave the room. You just walk to the exit, and then when you say, I'm going to go to another screen, the GM has to go back to the overview and then move you. So, like, here, let's go bind existing level. Can I bind multiples? No. Just the one. They'll appear wherever. So, like, here, let's go to this one. Let's go load level. And you decide where they appear, right? So you'll go. But the problem is if they come back to an area, they jump to the other door. Let's see. So the start point is like, you enter the dungeon here, and you come in, and then this one will say like lead dungeon corridor west. But then when they return, you have to put the entrance there. And then we'll put this one like to dungeon room east, right? Because that's how we were gonna string them together. So like, make a folder, and we call this one dungeon. And then we drag the dungeon into the folder. Are these all not the dungeon? Let me see. Oh, I see. They're just like headers, right? Like, no, wait. Why are these not going into my folder? Oh, there we go. I see. Okay. Filler cottage, random encounter. All right. So, see, now I feel like... Here, let me draw. So, I've got dungeon entrance. And then we've got corridor west. And then we've got... What do we call it? Dungeon west room. And then room 2. Dungeon west room. And then dungeon west room 2. Okay. And then... So there we go. So we start that, and they do this thing. And then they walk over here, and they're like, we're going to open this door. So you go map, dungeon corridor west. I wonder if I can... Yeah.
Our illustrious champion returns.
So...
Welcome home.
I have these twice. Delete scene. What's up, Devil's Grin? Welcome back. All right. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4... Right? Dungeon corridor west, which I need to rename. Can I rename this, please? Yeah, corridor west.
To the math squad.
Hey, bearded back. Yeah. Welcome. Dungeon corridor west. We called this room. This was dungeon west room 1, and then dungeon west room 2, and they go in that order. Okay. So then we need to add in another scene called Dungeon East, and we were just gonna use like a room for this one, I think, which was, yeah, let's use Forbidden Chapel. All right, so we'll call this one Dungeon Chapel East. Dungeon Chapel East. Okay. So this is, I guess, how we're intended to do dungeons. So it's like, oh, so you've left dungeon entrance hall. You're going down west corridor. Let us go to the west corridor. And so then you pop it open, and then you have to set their entrance point. But the problem is that I think the game feels designed not for exploration, but for linear progression from one thing to another.
You have returned.
Hi, Raytech. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. We'll fuck around with this dungeon. I'm going to save it, and then we'll go look at how the little tutorial adventure is built. Okay, so let's map this one. So this is the entrance point. So to dungeon entrance. And then we go another sticky on this side. To dungeon west room 1. Yeah, Demented Pingu, you can bind existing scenes to multiple pins, but if I change one version, doesn't it not alter the other? Like, don't I then functionally have two of the same? They're not actually two of the same area? Okay, so anyway, let's finish building our little overview here. So Dungeon Corridor West, then Room 1. And then they come in here. And this is to Dungeon West Corridor, or Dungeon Corridor West. Okay, and then set the start point. Alright, and so you they fuck around in here, and then there's another exit, and this goes to Dungeon Room West 2. To Dungeon Room West 2. Okay, and then we hit M. We go to Dungeon Room West 2. This is the one where we lock the door, and then we go start point. And then we go sticky to let us know where this room connects to. So that goes back to dungeon west room 1. All right. And then dungeon chapel east doesn't have another, despite having a door. This is irritating, like, not a door. Except that it clearly, obviously is a door. And I can't remove it. I can't just switch this for wall. And this goes back to dungeon entrance. What do we call it? Yeah, dungeon entrance. Like, yeah, you have to block, but like that'll get old fast, right? Like, why does every hallway end with block stuff? Why is that? Like, it's gonna start getting really cliche pretty quick, don't you think? Yeah, it's like invisible, an annoying invisible wall. Yeah. Okay. All right. So they come in and they can transition out either of these. We can fill in this room, and then we move on to the other ones. Okay. So let's do a thing. Let's try to populate this little dungeon room. So when they come in, I want to have like a combat encounter in this room. So maybe there's some cultists or something that live in this dungeon. Let's do that. Because everybody loves cultists. And they, of course, are enemy cultists. So let's go creatures. They're all like city guards. Civilians. Okay, maybe I don't have any cultists. We've got rogues and warriors. Alright. Well, I guess they're just like outcasts and warrior types. Okay, so there's a bunch of these guys, and I could change them around, right? I can go, let's make them look different. I don't think I can, unfortunately I can't equip like a hood to make him look more like a cultist, but I could find like a bandit hat that looks kind of scary. And then I have to drag this, their individual levels down, I think.
Our illustrious champion returns. Welcome home. I'm gonna make the elementalist level 2.
Okay. So they're all like waiting on the altar, and then when the players arrive, I guess they'll like rush in and attack. But let's put in a trap. Let's say they have the stairs trapped. How do we do a trap? Is a trap an item? Oh, cool. We can do some decorations. Let's do that. That's a crappy table. What a crappy lantern. This is like kind of their base in this dungeon. Some chairs. Oh, you've startled them, and now they're all like, "Ah, fuck, who are these jerks?" Okay. I can't put stuff on the table? Come on. Skull with candle. Aw, man. But I want... Maybe the table's not high enough level to have stuff on it. Oh, Jesus, that's a huge teddy bear. Holy shit. Why is that there? Oh, if you possess him, you can have him sit down? Okay, let's do that. Sit your ass down. Just sitting here awkwardly staring at the door. Okay, here we go. So there's a bug. Yeah, you place it on the ground, then drag it from the ground to the table. Okay, let's try that. Let's see. There's my items. Candles. Oh yeah, there we go. It's a big candle. Cool, light golden teaspoon. Can I resize this? We were but playing coins, sir. It's an inflation problem in this world. I can't rotate them now because I already placed them. Like, I don't know. Can I? Oh God. It's the chair. The chair needs to be placed like facing the. I don't know. They're playing Cuppy Spoony. My cup. For me. Fuck that thing. Yeah. So they all just have to be like awkwardly like waiting for the PCs to get here. Like if I rotate their view, watch. So I'll possess this guy. He always sits facing that way. Because it's the chairs like facing. Watch. So if I grab the chair, and I guess I have to trash it. Can I have this chair, please? Oh, once it's been placed, I can't rotate it. To rotate, click and hold and scroll. Oh, okay. There we go. So now let's see if I possess him. Sit your ass down. There we go. Okay. All right. That's one. No, you're already sitting. Get back in your chair. I'm taking your... Oh, I can rotate him in the chair. Okay. I think. Here. No, that just rotates him. All right. I don't... I think that the chairs... Oh my god. All right. God damn it. Let me turn this thing all the way around. I would kill for like a view, like an arc of view on this thing. This is a lot of work just to make them sit facing the correct direction. Oh, you see the sexy way she was sitting in that chair? Sexy chair lady. All right, sit down, wizard. Okay, that's fine. You're fine. I don't care. Go sit. All right. Put your butt in the chair. Go. All right. Well, cool. They're all sitting around this table doing nothing. Let's put some more stuff on the table to make it look like they're actually doing something. Get some items. Throw some more candles on here. Nope, that's the big honkin' weirdo candle. Jesus, why are those candles so big? Here we go. What? Why? Why is this book so huge? Where's the wizard? He's reading. There you go. Nerd. There you go. That's a better sized book. I know. Are there cards? Let's look and see. Because that's what I was thinking. Like, they're just sitting around playing cards. Yeah, there we go. Hey, where'd it go? Tiny deck of cards. Seems a little underwhelming. I guess it's a bigger table. Jesus, that gold cup is huge then. Okay, hold on. Like, that looks so small. Whatever. Okay. Great. Oops, nope, sticking off the table. There you go. That's better. All right, so anyway, these guys come in and then they fight. They just like come rushing at you and fight, which is weird. Let's put some. I guess they wouldn't keep their treasure all in the. Oh yeah, we were gonna do a trap on the stairs. So let's figure that out. Can I set these dudes for like ranged? I can, right? I can go AI can be ranged AI, and I can make sure that they have. Oh, they don't even come. Do they not come equipped with weapons? Oh my god! Put it in his damn hands. Yeah, there you go. Okay, now I need a bow and arrow or whatever for this guy. Crossbow? Crossbow. Yeah. Does he need ammo? Because I basically don't want them to rush the characters and hit their own trap. Okay, he's got spells, so let's make him a mage AI. And then, same with her. Let's give her a bow. Alright. Ranger AI. I don't know what that does. Okay. So they'll like pew, 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 shoot at everybody, I think. I mean, I don't understand why the basic crossbow is a level 5 weapon, right? Like, it's just a crossbow. I don't know. That I think is something that comes from experience of like actually playing the game, like learning what the like level stuff is. And oh, I guess I got to give him spells. You need the toy crossbow for lower level. Well, he'll be able to use it, right? Oh, he's only got, yeah. Here, do you have any spells? What spells do you know? No, he's got spells. He's got Hail Strike and Fireball and Burning Blaze. Sucker Punch. It's good. Okay. Okay, let's do that trap now. So how do traps work? So these are all... So these are all my creatures. Weapons, mechanisms. Here we go, traps. Fire cloud pit. Ah, shit. That's cool. So, how does that work? Like, do you set traps? You'd pause when they step on it? Is there automation for traps, please? For the love of God, let me automate these traps. Okay, fire cloud, go away. Go away, fire cloud. I'm done with you. Just cease. Thank you. Here we go. Subtle. No one will ever notice. Oh, okay, so in-game those are always on. I want something that just like triggers fire when they step into it. But I'm probably gonna have to do that manually, aren't I? Mines, okay. Now, again, it's a trap, so I should be able to set it so that it's visible or... Nope, it's just an item sitting on the floor. Like, here, watch. Let's put a person in, we'll possess him, and we'll see what happens. Ooh, I can set the mood to dungeon. Let's see, where's the dungeon ones? Here we go. Crypt. Cavern of Blue. Crypt 2. Necro Cavern. Oh, that's horrifying. Okay. Let's see. We need a person. Let's have a character that can get hit by this trap. All right, boy. Where's that kid have magic armor? Also, this is horrifying. Ah, toast. Okay, all right. So that worked, but the mine is just like sitting there. I guess we could just leave this roasted kid. Get out of here, you roasted kid.
Our illustrious champion returns. Welcome home.
Okay, let's see if they're like a hidden version of that we can do. Yeah, I think the thing is though is that well, here, watch. But it still looks pretty visible to me. All right, let's get that kid out here. Come here, test boy. Why is he like glowing like that? Traps are just de facto invisible to players? Okay. Alright, well then I'll just place some regular type mines. Let's see. Okay. So they like walk out and then blam, hit the mines, and these guys attack them. And then they can go into the other parts of the dungeon. So I guess that would mean then going in and populating all these dungeons, and then setting up for like your whole adventure. I think it's interesting how little of this is actually like programmatical. I'm seeing, I think, their intent with this, but honestly, I wish that I had more like stuff that I could automate, like even just in building encounters, like packaged encounters that I could then tweak. Loot is remarkably tedious to do, because if I'm like, all right, I want, let's just do this. Let's say, okay, there's a treasure chest. So there's a treasure chest with some bandit loot. Oops. Treasure chest with bandit loot. We'll go chest. Okay. Let's put this up here. Okay. Now, I don't know. It gives me a firestorm grenade, some fire arrows, and some gold. I want some level 1 appropriate miscellaneous loot. What do I do? I mean, I guess I have to specifically pick, like, okay, a fire resistance potion. And then... Well, no, so I know people say you can hit generate, but generate in the chest gives you trader stuff, not... Just give me some more equipment items on here. Give me like, a level slider, and then the ability to generate. Like, it's almost there. If you just hit generate, watch, though, right? Wizard trader. It generates things that a wizard trader would own. I don't think that's what these are for. No, but again, these are all trader things. Right now I have miscellaneous equipment, but it's not based on, like, it's not the same as a D&D, like a dungeon loot table. Yeah, if you're building a town, you have to build the store. I could see that being super useful, but for adventure type stuff, not so much. Shop presets. Yeah. Well, the rewards panel is for like XP, I think. But that's like live stuff. Why, again, like I wouldn't want to do that manually. I would want the game to do that for me. Let's see what's in a fancy or a different chest. So let's do chest again. Let's put down like a ornate chest. Okay, and I place it. And then I click it, and it gives me a poison flask and some gold. If I right click and I go manage, it just gives me the qualities, like the inventory, same thing, like a bigger version of this screen. Yeah, you can, the thing is, I'm not looking to make custom items. I want the game to do some of this work for me. Right? Like, yeah, I could do, like, let's make a rare shield. Right? There's a rare metal shield. But I don't want to do that. I would like the game to do it for me. Yeah, I can't set. Yeah. I mean, I could make it look like they robbed a merchant, which is fine. But I do have to do it. It's funny because it's like all the work is in places I don't want it to be, and then the excess, like the automated stuff, is just basically all combat stuff. I'd like to have more tools available to, because otherwise, like an adventure that I create with this is gonna have a bunch of sort of meaningless RP, right? Where I'm like, you meet with this guy and he tells you these things, and like you can go to this place, and then if they're like, cool, we go, then I can move them to a screen and be like, yeah, you're attacked by bandits, and then they fight the bandits, but it's only gonna take a few minutes, right? Because it's also automated. I feel like the amount of work that goes into, like that room we just did, right? How long it took to build that room, versus how long they'll actually spend in that room. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Alex, is like Kobold Fight Club. Right? Let me show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about. These are the tools that I want in this game. Now these are tools for 5th edition D&D. But I want them in a game like this. To me it feels like it's necessary to make a game like this work. Okay. So like here's Kobold Fight Club, right? Now I have 4 players of level 3. And they're in a dungeon. So let's go underground. A giant scorpion. 2 insects and 4 zvarts. A cave fisher. Right? Okay, let's do a boss encounter. A warlock of Imix, a Grick, and a Vargwheel, right? And I can customize these. I can say I only want, maybe they're in a dungeon full of undead. Give me a random deadly. All right, 8 zombies. 1 revenant, right? I want this. I want this in this. I want to be able to pull and drop full character, like full sets of these things. And this has been in this kind of shit, not the tools, but the tables that you randomize. This stuff has been
a kind gesture.
Thank you. This stuff has been in Dungeons and Dragons since basically day 1, right? Random encounter tables. That's like absolutely a thing. The other thing that I want is something like this, like the dungeon generator. I want to be able to say, trinkets. Give me some random trinkets. I want a treasure for challenge rating 1, and it's a horde. Bam. Just like put all of these things into a box, right? This is what makes DMing Dungeons and Dragons like possible to do quickly and to improvise. Because the chest doesn't have anything in it until they open it, and when they open it, here's the random stuff. Because otherwise, you end up in a situation where you're building everything so slowly, right? This pulling these guys, and like there's the interface is very close to it, right? Encounters, create new encounter, set the encounter level. Generate the encounter. Just go. Just give me that. It's one more step to pull this. And then I can go in and say, okay, I'm going to bump the elementalist. I'm going to give him some specific spells. I'm going to tweak his appearance, you know, but like, let me do that with the random generation first.
Welcome to the mouse.
Same thing with, hey, Dr. Science. So same thing with, treasure, right? Let me go to my creatures and items. Let me pull a chest. Let me right click this chest and go. I mean, again, they're so close, right? give me level 2 treasure.
A kind gesture.
Thanks, James. Right? Let me generate a treasure. You're so close already, right? Game devs, that's all you need to do is just give me the option to randomly generate that stuff quickly. Give me the option to randomly generate a dungeon, right? Again, I'm coming at this from a D&D perspective. Let's take a look at what their adventure looks like, shall we? Let's go back to the main menu and let's see what they built. This is the campaign that's created. Oops, no, I don't want to join one. Let's take a look at the Hungry Journey, right? So this is the tutorial campaign. And this stuff is the way that this is supposed to work. So, okay, we've got our map. Let's go take a look at how they've built it. So it starts at this road less traveled. So let's load up this level. I mean, this is a very simplified version of what you can do, obviously. But so they've got some ideas about, that's my note. They've got some notes about how to do it. Teaching you about these things. They've got, let's see, a signpost with nothing on it. So maybe, I don't know, maybe this is a bad example because it's not really an actual encounter. It's got an ominous apple pie. Let's go look at another one. Let's go look at something a little more complicated. So let's go to the Orphanage. All right, so I guess the idea is that the characters come in over here, and then they've got this character, they've got the strange woman. Here, you can show your players the vignette to the Orphanage. Where's my vignettes? Oh, I see. These are vignettes, right? The lumberjack. Got it. Yeah, so much of the story is supposed to be... So this... Look, this is the dialogue tree. Oh. Right. Okay. So, instead of dialogue with the characters, you're supposed to... No, madam, we're not troubadours. We are a plague upon this world and exist only to feast on infant flesh. So they vote on what thing the party wants to do. Interesting. Okay. So we show them the vignette. They choose whether they want to attack her or not. Then we go back to the game field. And what else are we supposed to do? She insists the children are inside waiting for her invitation. She's not a normal woman. She's a demon from the depths of Nemesis. She looked like she'd do as a snack. Okay, so these are very much... Yeah, remove her and place Cinerak from the exported characters section. Got it. Okay. I understand. I see how that works. So the vignette is supposed to be for your dialogue options. This marks the limits of this area. When they're finished exploring here, open the world map, load the Tiny Tim Orphanage. So there's fucking blood everywhere in this orphanage. The doors lock themselves. They're mechanical and they may be trapped. It should be very hard to unlock them. Dead children lie here and there. They see their flesh is cold and stiff. They've been bitten by something large. Players trying to eat a child become diseased, which you can apply as a condition to them. This is the corpse of Principal Silja. Little George. It's a demon named Amcroth, and then he fights them. And okay, all right. Got it. So demons have killed everyone in the orphanage, and they've got a tutorial. Okay, so the idea is that basically, like, let's take a look at their vignette screen. Yeah, every time something happens, basically, you use vignettes to give them choice. So I suppose the idea here is you don't even need to ever talk to your PCs. You just use vignettes to communicate things. This could be portraits of characters. You could, I guess you could have nested vignettes. Like if they choose this option, go to this option. So like here, these three, this one goes to these three options. So you could branch those, but there's no automation to the branching. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's just this one, but I think the idea is that it's like more like a choose your own adventure than it is like a D&D game. You can describe things, right? You could read this to the players as they look at it. You could do the character back and forth, but fundamentally it doesn't really matter because the GM has to have prepared a bunch in advance, or at least prepared some options, right? Where if they decide to do something different, you'd have to be able to drop things in. So I guess the three things that I would ask for most from a system like this that would make them easier is building tools that are random encounters and random treasure, and then a pre-programmed dialogue tree option. I guess if you were the kind of like really obsessive designer that wanted to build every possible option, you could do that, but that just seems like incredibly sort of tormentous to me. I don't know if that would be fun. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I would feel about that. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I wonder, like, it's certainly a decent tool, but it feels like it needs more expediency inherent in it. We need more to make it fast. We need to be able to be given... Well, so this is the thing, like, if you've seen other GMs use the GM mode, were those encounters pre-built, right? Like, you can drag and drop pre-built encounters relatively easy. You can activate pre-built stuff. I could drop in a character, but, like, if I'm... For example, let's jump into my campaign that I was messing with here. If I'm in this dungeon... If I'm in this dungeon, let's go ahead and jump in there. And I need to drop in some bandits, right? I'm like, yeah, the door bursts open and bandits come in. I have to go in here and I have to go bandits. Yeah, and there's a elf and a lizard and a ranger. But hold on, the elf is level 2, and I gotta give her, hold on, I want her to have a sword, okay. Shit, swords, okay, a long sword, okay. And then the lizard, that's, okay, he's too high level, so I need to go, right, like, I can't, I have to pre-build. Oh, no, now I need to set their AI. So wait, hold on. No, these are enemies. And this one's a range. No, yeah, range, but she doesn't have a bow. I got to give her a bow. So I guess what I want is to be able to generate... I want to be able to generate this whole thing quickly. Right? Give me the tools to drop in a whole set of, like, because what you want is seamlessness, right? This has to play like you're playing the computer version of the game, or else all of the stuff is not, it's not available anymore. Yeah, so comparing and contrasting this to a virtual tabletop like Roll20, yeah, I can make a folder of tokens that are tied to characters that I've already made, and I can just drag them in. If I'm using the monster manual, I can just drag and drop, and they're done. But yeah, what I want is, it's not bad. It just feels like all the work still needs to be done for me. Now, let me see. Can I? Let's try to build an encounter that I can then just drag and drop, right? If I want to make my own random encounter table. But the problem is, like, all right, so this cultist, let's say I want to reuse this group of cultists. Say they're a generic group of cultist rogues. Great. So I've built this. Now I go to a different map in the same dungeon, which the game doesn't care. They're all really independent windows. But let's go to a different scene in this dungeon. Let's open that folder. Now, all right, let's get those cultists. I want another batch of those same cultists. They're not in that window. Right? So I would have to pre-prep again. I'd have to pre-prep this encounter. Now, okay, maybe I can go back and copy and paste them. So let's look at my encounters. Cultists. New. No. Rename, delete, center, or deactivate. I can't just copy them either. Can I? So there's like details on the characters. So, okay. If I need to do an encounter quickly that I did not plan for, I can't. Is that, I mean, I'm not missing anything, am I? I can only generate brand new stuff by dragging and dropping individual characters into it. Like this little set of like bandits playing cards. I could reuse this, or I could give this to someone else to reuse in another dungeon. Or I could copy this little set and then tweak it for another adventure with a different group or something. But yeah, I don't have the ability to like drop stuff in quickly. Pre-building encounters or pre-building foes and being able to drag and drop into like I want to build, when I make a dungeon, I want to build a bunch of sets of encounters. Okay, so I can export particular characters. So that's something. So I can go like, this is my crossbow bandit, right? Level 1. And now I go to monsters and items. Where's my exported creatures? Here we go. I've got crossbow. Okay, so now I can do her. So this is a way I can create. So that's good. That's something, right? But it's still not quite what I'm after. It does seem, yeah, it seems very much like the expectation. And again, I'm not passing judgment on the intention of the design. It just does seem like the intent is plan everything and then run through the pre-planned thing. Occasionally possessing characters, making them take action, that kind of thing. which is like, it's okay, but it's not quite what I would call a game master mode exactly. To be able to call yourself, in my mind, to be able to call yourself a game master mode, you need to impart a broader mastery of what's going on in a way that is quick and seamless. This feels like an editor, certainly, but if it were an editor, I would expect it to have dialogue trees. Like, I feel like this tool would be great for building an adventure that I could then say, all right, everybody, go ahead and play. And I could sit back and watch, but there's no way for me to. I still have to step in for dialogue, right? There's no RP. There's no like there's no interaction really outside of vignettes. In which case you can pop the vignette and be like, here you go. Yeah, it's sort of like a facilitator mode. What would make this game master mode is like more control over. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird combination. It seems like it's hovering in the space between campaign editor and DM tool. I would like to push it in one direction or another. Either make it more automated so I don't need to participate as much, if at all, right? Or make it more about having a toolbox that I can drop stuff in quickly. And while the players are having a fight over here, I can jump in and I can go, okay, in this other room, I'm going to start planning these things. And like, okay, so if they fought the bandits in this room, that probably set off an alarm in the other room. I can't actually leave this map while the players are doing anything here. This allows you to call for a roll. So you could say, you know, basically like take over and make a system roll. Yeah. It feels closer, but not quite there yet. Like I could see playing if they gave me, or if I purchased a module, I could kind of see familiarizing myself with the module and going through it, but I just don't have the interest or the time in developing a fully fleshed out like module for my players because it's so much work. You know, like it's just so much placing objects and like filling in details and then manually managing combat, and then also not having the ability to like turn stuff over to the players while I go prep other things. I don't have the flexibility that I need. So it seems like it's maybe in the middle of two modes. The crucial skill, and I'm gonna say this across the board. If you were trying, whether you're trying to emulate or you're using the terminology of tabletop RPGs like game master, if you're gonna call it a game master mode, the core thing that empowers a game master, the thing that makes a game master capable of doing that kind of job, is the ability to improvise, the ability to react. The difference between that and like a level builder or a scenario builder is that a scenario builder doesn't provide opportunity for improvisation. And I don't know. Yeah, like if I haven't prepped for a thing, I can't include it. Because the prep it seems like so much of a big like thing. It feels very old school in the sense of like, I'm going to make the dungeon and you're going to go through it, and that's how it goes. Which I guess is how most people think of like Dungeons and Dragons, honestly. Like, I think that tends to be the primary thought about how that kind of thing works. Yeah. So I don't know. It's better than, I will say this, in a lot of ways, it does seem better than what we've seen so far. And I could envision with a couple of feature tweaks, you could make it better, but I don't think that it really does feel like, you know, walk up to an NPC, like you said, like walk up to an NPC. Okay, we're going to pause. We're going to act out the RP. The mechanics don't actually influence it. Maybe I'll call for you to make a roll to help me decide on something, but then we either fight or we don't fight, and then you move on to the next room. It feels like this could be a set piece for a non-game RPG, right? Like you could just say, all this is for fighting and for envisioning a map, and then we're just gonna RP everything else, and the vignettes will help you vote on what to do. Should we take the left path or the right path? Should we enter the monastery? Should we leave? Should we pull the switch or not pull the switch? And then it's like environmental effects or character stuff. I don't know. I want to look at some of the pre-existing. Let me look. Can I take a look at? Can I see like or download like a pre-existing campaign, something like that? Like, load campaign. No, this is just loads this campaign. I guess you'd have to download them as DLC in like Steam like Workshop or whatever, right? I wonder if any of those are available. Let me take a look. Sorry, I'm just switching over to Steam. Let's take a little look at the Steam Workshop. Okay, yes. Steam Workshop. So, expanded GM options full of unused... Okay, so it's just assets. There we go. A short, lighthearted, single-player standalone adventure. But that... I don't know if that was built for GM mode. GM add-on 1. These things add a bunch of monsters and bosses and skills. Can I... let me see. Type. Here we go. GM campaign. Horde of the Dragon Queen. Oh, that's funny. Chapter 1. Oh, I see. So they've made some remakes of D&D adventures. A bunch of people's published Hungry Journey copies. Okay. Let's take a look at this Tyranny of Dragons one. Oh, let's see. Is it available? I have only the first chapter, Greenest in Flames, so I might continue in the future. Not everything is included. It's a proof of concept. Okay, fuck it. Let's download that shit. All right. Let's load that back up. See what happens. That's a cool elf. All right. Prepare campaign. Let's see how another person... See how another person has made this thing. I've planned this so the characters be level 5. Not sure how balanced it is. You might have to adjust on the fly. But then again, that's the essence of being a GM. Made a scene with equipment and skills. You should spawn the players in first before beginning so they can fix their stuff. Okay, so they got a little map, little town of Greenest. All right, that's kind of cool. So they've got their map here, and then they have a secondary map with like encounters on the map. It's kind of neat. I like the idea of the town with its own individual stuff. Let's take a look at how this is set up. So Greenest seems to be the only... All right, so this is the intro text. I've seen this adventure. This is the intro text for this adventure. For the past several days, you've been traveling a road that winds lazily along the rolling grassland forest of Greenfields, yada, yada, yada. Greenest is being attacked by a dragon. Run to the town immediately. This is no issue of mine. Wait till sunrise to observe the town. Right, so they've added their own DC, like the types of tests to manually roll. So the vignette, a hero emerges. Okay, but it's not finished. Okay, that's... Oh, yeah, so many vignettes. So again, yeah, like cutscenes. And then choice, yeah, kind of these. This is all the RP. This is all like this kind of D&D stuff. The multiple choice, choose your own adventure shit. And then the locations. The vignettes don't do anything. So this person has built like a little burning town and built all the encounters in. Yeah, it's... So I could very much see that this is the plan, right? You build a series of choose your own adventure style encounters, and you build them all like... Okay, I get it. And then he's just renamed Cobalt. Okay, all right. Yeah, it's like a cutscene mixed with a straw poll, those vignettes. So you'd have to really just like it's for like railroady adventures, or I guess you could go, here is the area, where do you want to go? If you wanted to do like a sandbox thing, you could say, Jesus Christ, here's the map. You could build random encounters. You could build random encounters to say, yeah, I think that's the thing. I wouldn't treat this. This brings us, and this is actually a good kind of closing point. I wouldn't treat this like a replacement or even an adjacent thing to a role-playing game. This is a video game with a ton of pre-prep stuff to do. And then you let your players run through it, and you're there simply to trigger encounters, to trigger vignettes. You're not GMing. This is like stage manager mode, right? You pull the curtain to bring down the end of a scene. You open the curtain with a new backdrop. You could, I guess, if you wanted to, like RP the NPCs, but really all that does is give you information about what scene to play next and what encounters to trigger or not trigger. You could give characters information through that RP, but yeah, it's stage crew mode, set designer mode, which is cool. But let's remember that that's more what it is. You're pulling, yeah, you're the great and powerful Oz. You're not creating the same kind of, it's not about the fiction anymore. It's about the setting and the plot. And I think that's why maybe this particularly kind of fucks with me, is because I'm so, like, my mind is so in the idea of game master, meaning like tabletop RPG game master. That's not what they're trying to simulate here. They're trying to simulate a video game that happens to have slightly more human interaction. Huh. Interesting. The point stands, I would like some tools to make it faster to do that, but I guess if you have 12 hours to put together a 2-hour adventure, it's the opposite of D&D. If I prep in D&D for an hour, I can get 2 hours out of that. It seems like the ratio in this is maybe prep for 4 hours and get like an hour and a half of content. I'd have to see it live. I'm not I'm not as immediately repulsed from this as I am from this sort of normal tool when something is like this. But it isn't quite what maybe I expected. But maybe the problem is that I need to reframe my expectations. Maybe it's not a problem at all. Maybe I just need to think about these kinds of tools in a different way and then decide if they're for me or not. Interesting. Interesting. Well, cool. I mean, I think I've pretty much gotten a handle on what it is, and if, for example, I had an opportunity where I needed to build a campaign, perhaps I would return to do so. But I kind of don't feel like just building it for nothing, right? Like I'm not about using this to create something someone else could GM through. I don't want to make modules. I guess I need context. So if that context were to come up, then perhaps I would return. Interesting though. Interesting stuff.